Everybody, and welcome back. Hope you had a chance to look at my pre-analysis this morning. Nonetheless, we'll go over some price action on what happened today in the markets for Monday, July the 3rd. So what do you see on the charts here? I have a 4H on your viewing screen. And I just wanted to zoom out a little bit to help you truly understand the multi-time frame analysis or what I'm thinking in terms of what are the most high probable trades that we should get involved in. So if you look at this, from Monday, June 12th, we had a massive push on the 4H, right? So what happens? We had a break of structure here. We had a massive push. After the push, we are anticipating a pullback, and it came back into a pretty good discount area for that 4H range. And then from here, what are we expecting? We're expecting a next push, right? So from this, where is the most probable areas that you would like to get involved, right? This push is done. This is the counter pullback. So even if I did not have the straight push down, this is a corrective pushback, you know, it's going like this, right? And then it had an order flow change, and then it's doing this. It's going up and up and up. So this is what the market is doing. And it's very clear that you want to get involved in pro internal and pro swing. Those are your most high probable bets for a high strike rate and getting yourself involved in a winner, right? And I'll explain this in a little bit. Let's go down to 1H and let's see, because this is my main time frame that I do all the analysis. There is also one thing that I just want to highlight a little bit. Typically what happens is when whatever time frame, so if you are looking at structure, right, and if you are looking at multi-time frame analysis, you're looking at 4H, 1H, 15 minutes, or you're looking at 1H, 15 minutes, 1 minute, 4H, 1H, 15 minutes, 1 minute, I don't know. Whatever 3-4 time frames that you're looking at, a lot of people get involved and get stuck on their execution time frames, right? They somehow get into this rut of just staying there and analyzing further all the price action that happens on that time frame, right? Rather than using that entry time frame only as an entry time frame. The minute that entry goes, or your model does not develop, or your entry model does not develop, exit, leave the entry time frame, go back to your main analysis time frame, which led you to your entry time frame. You will save yourself a whole bunch of losses if you stop spending a lot of time on your entry time frame. Just go in there for your entries and then leave ASAP and go back to your analysis on your main time frame, right? So 1H is my main time frame, and this is where I stay majority of the time, right? So we just looked at 4H and we saw, let's zoom this out a little bit as well to help you get a clearer picture. That is your 4H push, and then we had this very corrective pullback, right? We had 1H boss a pullback, 1H boss pullback, massive sweep, 1H boss pullback, complex pullback, 1H boss pullback, 1H boss, and then it had a 1H boss on the other side. So the order flow quickly shifted, and then we had a 4H chalk, which is also in the favor for looking at longs, right? So coming into today's price action, here's where we are. So before I even go into the price action, what would be the most probable direction that you would want to trade in? We know that we are in a 4H bullish run because we just had a break of structure, pullback, and then we are anticipating another break of structure. We know that the 1H time frame, which is my medium time frame, it's a complex pullback. So it's doing impulse corrective pullback, and the objective of this is to go back into the discount of the 4H so it can then have another impulse on the 4H to have that new boss and push the price higher, right? So if we are already in the 1H, it could be that this low might be your new higher low, and this could be the reason why we have the new boss. It could very well be because we were in the discount, right, of the 4H range, and now we have had the 1H boss, and now within the 1H boss we are playing a pullback into this demand. Once we get into this demand, we are pro internal, via pro swing, and that would be the most high probable trades for me, right? If you are playing a counter internal and a pro swing, yes, it's a good trade. Pro internal and counter swing, also a good trade, but you never want to, or at least be very, very careful if you want to play counter internal and counter swing, right? So coming in this morning, what did I see? I saw there was a massive sweep of all of this liquidity, and then we had a massive push down, right? I was monitoring this time frame at this point. I was monitoring the price action to get involved in, but like I said in my earlier video today, life happens and I was not at the charts. But also I also noticed, and I put it in the comments, that there was a massive spike here, and I was waiting for that spike to be taken before I wanted to get involved into a trade. But suddenly after 15, 20, 1 hour, that spike disappeared from my charts. In fact, it was while I was recording the video, I noticed that the spike is gone, which completely changes my entire thought process on the entries, and I missed the entry. So here it took this out, and then it had a massive push down. And if I were to go into the 15-minute, and I'll just quickly share that with you also, that this was the trade that I was looking at to get involved, right? Give me 1 second. Right there, yeah. So this was the line which had a spike. Somehow it disappeared. Then the next line was this, the entire liquidity. I was looking at the pivot candle. It gave me a nice chalk. So we swept liquidity. We were into our POI, which was built from a sweep of all these highs. And then after the chalk, I was wanting to get involved. And then if you did get this, you had a massive 8-hour run, which was fantastic, right? But if you did not, no worries, there's another day. So let me take that out of the way. And this is what I wanted to tell you about the pro and internal, right? So at this point in time, if I were to get involved, I was getting involved what? Let's pull back. I was getting involved in a counter trend, right? I was getting involved in a counter, a pro internal, counter swing, but pro internal, because you were seeing the breakdown happening and it was kind of pulling back. This would have been more high probable going up, because that would have been pro internal, that would have been a pro swing, that would have been a pro medium time frame. Everything is systems go for the next boss on 4H. But this here, I wasn't, it is a sort of a counter, so I'm not really that keen on, it's not the highest probability. You can obviously play like I showed you, but it's not the highest probability. So what I was waiting for was price to mitigate here. But what happened on 1H, going back, as soon as my entry is done, I go back to 1H. Price really never mitigated anything substantial here on this time frame. If you cycle through time frames, I'm sure there is a demand here, but nothing really that caught my interest on my time frame that I do all my analysis on. So I wasn't really interested. It could be just a slight reaction to something, and it could have pushed down. But there was high impact news today, and what it did was I was waiting for price to go into this new 1H zone that was created by all the sweep that was done. So the first entry was on this POI. Then the new POI that was formed by all that sweep is right here. And I was waiting for price to come in here, but it did not give me my entry model. And then we had a news, and then we had massive spike upwards, and then it came down into this POI. This POI, by the way, also was formed by taking some liquidity at the bottom here. But if I went to 15-minute, there wasn't really an entry model for me to get involved in. And neither here. So it was a slow day. The price never reached the demand. This would have been my highest probability. I was waiting for this to happen, get mitigated, and I was ready to set my guns and fire for this trade, because 4H chalk is bullish in our favor. We just chalked, bossed 1 hour towards the bullish side. And then once the price came in, the objective of the price is done. We would have been in the discount of the 1 hour range, discount in the 4 hour, and this would have been a new lower high created, and I would have been involved in. Once that did not happen, price went up. I'm not really interested. It's end of trading session, and that's where we are. So tomorrow, hopefully, we'll come back and see more price action, and hopefully we'll have some setups that we can take. Thank you so much, guys. You all have a good one. Bye-bye now.